Okay, welcome back, everyone.
Good to be here.
So today we're doing something pretty focused, a deep dive.
Yeah, really drilling down into one specific source text.
Exactly. We've got the lyrics from Alison McLean for her song, Now is the Moment.
And our plan, really, is to treat these lyrics, the sung parts, the spoken word bits, even the notes about music, as a kind of philosophical map.
A map. Okay, I like that. What are we looking for on this map?
Well, we're trying to uncover the main themes, figure out what she's really asserting about power, I guess.
And how she put it all together, the structure of it.
Right. The compositional choices are key.
Okay, so first impressions. For me, it's this immediate, almost jarring contrast.
How so?
Well, you've got this language that sounds super specific, almost like cognitive self-help. Yeah.
Analytical almost, yeah.
Right. And then right next to it, there's this deeply emotional, sort of spiritual, relationship-focused stuff.
That contrast, that's really the heart of the whole piece, isn't
Yeah.
it? We definitely need to keep that tension in mind as we go.
It feels very modern, mind and heart kind of colliding.
Exactly. But maybe before we get lost in the duality, we should nail down the foundation.
Good idea. What's the starting point?
It's laid out really clearly, and she repeats it again and again in the text. The core claim is, all power comes from within.
All power comes from within. Okay, that's the thesis statement then.
That's the bedrock. Everything else builds on, or maybe even reacts to, that idea.
So starting internal, let's dig into how she actually frames that internal power, because that first sung verse, wow, it's incredibly specific.
It is. It's not just, find your inner strength. It's much more physiological.
Totally. It reads almost like an instruction manual for your brain.
Exactly. It's presented through this cognitive science lens. She doesn't say, connect to the universe or whatever. She tells you how, practically.
Pointing to the physical self.
Right. She's addressing the body's actual infrastructure.
And the specific phrases jump out, don't they? Get those neurons firing?
Mm-hmm. And self-directed hardwiring.
Using words like neurons and hardwiring, that really makes the idea of internal power feel, well, concrete, tangible.
Yes. It grounds it. It's not just some floaty concept.
Yeah.
And I think that's rhetorically very effective.
How so?
By using hardwiring, McLean makes power about neurological agency, something you actively do, something you build.
Right. Not something you just hope for or wait to receive.
Exactly. It bypasses all the external stuff, luck, status, whatever. The implication is, if you're struggling, the fix is technical, internal. You need to direct the wiring.
And that phrase, self-directed, that seems crucial too. It implies you're in charge.
It's about ownership. Absolutely. It's not just that your brain has wiring, it's that you are intentionally managing it.
Like being the architect of your own mind, almost.
Yeah, it turns power into this ongoing project you're working on. If you buy into that premise that you fire the neurons, you direct the circuits, then the power really is internal and crucially immediate.
Because it's always accessible within you.
Right. The self becomes the power plant, the primary agent of change.
Okay, so that internal engine idea, the self as the source, that builds right into the main hook, the chorus. Now is the moment of power.
It's the payoff, yeah. Like an anthem that follows all that focused internal work described in the verse.
And looking at the structure she provides in the lyrics, there's actually an instrumental section noted right after that verse about hardwiring, but before the chorus hits.
That's not accidental, I think. That placement feels deliberate.
Why? What's its function? Like a breather?
Maybe more than a breather.
Yeah.
Almost a release point, or maybe a charging point.
Charging.
Well, think about it. That verse demands focus, mental energy. The instrumental break provides this wordless buildup.
Ah, okay. Like letting the energy gather steam before the big declaration.
Precisely. It acts like an anchor for that energy.
Yeah.
It takes the very personal neurological effort she just described and sort of channels it into this big universal shout.
Supported by those energetic woo-oohs and woo-hoos that are mentioned.
Yeah, those really sell the anthemic, empowering feel.
Okay, so we have the internal engine, the self-directed cognitive power, and then this anthemic release in the chorus. Makes sense.
But just as we get comfortable with that internal focus.
Right, here comes the turn. The structure takes a really sharp detour. It suggests that internal engine isn't the whole story.
And McLean makes sure you feel this shift coming. The text itself flags it explicitly.
Yeah, the instructions are right there. A key change.
And not just a key change, but a specific emotional direction.
Heart-wrenching strings.
I mean, that's quite a statement. Heart-wrenching. It's a total shift in tone. Why that specific feeling?
Good question. Why does peak cognitive performance suddenly need to pivot to deep emotional vulnerability?
Maybe because the definition of power is about to get broader?
I think that's exactly it. You're leaving the, let's say, controlled environment of your own hardwiring
Uh-huh.
and stepping into the messier shared world. And sometimes that requires facing things that are, well, heart-wrenching. Vulnerability.
So we move from neuroscience to something more abstract.
Yeah.
Relation. Yes. Moral, even. And you see that immediately in the spoken verse that follows.
Yeah, the language changes completely. We totally ditch the neurons and the wiring.
All that technical, measurable stuff is gone. Suddenly it's about these big, sweeping, communal ideas.
What are the key instructions here?
The text says, honor our presence, our breath, our life. It's a completely different kind of mandate.
It's shifted from fixing your own brain to
Yeah.
acknowledging shared existence.
Yeah, valuing shared humanity. It's not about individual optimization anymore. It's about connection.
So the source of the power, it feels like it's moved.
Definitely. It's not just within the individual's mind anymore.
Where is it now?
The verse actually specifies, within each other, the seed of unconditional love.
Yeah.
Power is now located between people.
Wow. Okay, that's a direct counterpoint to the hardwiring idea.
A complete counterpoint. If the first type of power was self-mastery, internal control, the second type is about empathy, connection, maybe even surrender to something bigger than the self.
How do we make sense of these two seemingly opposing definitions, then? One's all about me, my brain, my control. The other is about us, connection, love.
Are they separate? Or are they somehow connected? Two sides of the same coin.
That's the big question, isn't it? Does she want us to choose or to hold both ideas at once?
I think the structure suggests we have to synthesize them. Maybe the hard wiring gives you the strength to show up,
Okay.
but the unconditional love provides the meaning, the context, the reason why you show up.
So self-power isn't fully realized until it connects with others, until it's used in relationship.
That seems to be the implication. One isn't complete without the other.
Let's look at the overall structure again, because as you said, she repeats these sections. The lyrics show it cycles through the cognitive verse, the chorus, the spoken verse, multiple times.
Right. It's not just verse 1, chorus, verse 2, chorus, bridge, outro. It's a cycle. Cognitive, anthem, relational, repeat.
Wow. Why structure it like that? What does the cycling achieve?
Well, it forces you, the listener, to constantly hold both ideas, the internal and the relational, together. You can't just settle on one.
You do the internal work, you feel the power, then you're immediately reminded of the shared living context. Then back to the internal.
Exactly. It creates this dynamic tension. You need the self-mastery, the self-directed hard wiring. But that power finds its meaning perhaps in the unconditional love and honoring presence.
So it's a duality. The internal charge needs an external purpose or connection.
Yeah, you power yourself up, but the expression of that power seems tied to how you relate to others.
And the overall message feels urgent because of that chorus. Now is the moment.
And that urgency applies to both sides, doesn't it? You need to get those neurons firing now, and you need to honor presence and love now.
You can't delay either side of the equation.
It feels like a call to integrate both immediately.
Looking at the very end, the concluding structure in the lyrics, that seems really significant too.
What stands out to you there?
Well, the source shows the spoken verse, the honor our presence, unconditional love part, comes right before the final repetition of the now is the moment of power chorus.
Ah, that sequencing is powerful. It gives the relational aspect the final word, almost.
Like a concluding thought, framing the ultimate meaning of power.
Exactly. While the internal hardwiring might be where you start, the piece seems to conclude by emphasizing that the expression of that power, its final context, is found in connection, in love, within each other.
That's the last idea before the final anthem hits and fades.
Yeah, it puts the ultimate emphasis on the communal, the shared aspect.
Okay, so let's try to summarize what we've unpacked here from this deep dive into McLean's lyrics. She's defining power, but not simply.
Not at all. It's a dual definition, really. Power is presented through two lenses simultaneously.
Lens one, the individual, almost physiological. You need to manage your own neurons firing, your own hardwiring. It's about self-agency.
Right. Internal, self-directed work. And lens two, the communal, maybe spiritual, power is also found within each other through vulnerability, honoring presence, discovering that seed of unconditional love.
And the song structure, the whole composition, forces us to hold both these ideas together.
Under that banner of urgency, now is the moment. You need both, right now.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to maybe chew on. It builds on that urgency.
Mm.
Does now is the moment apply equally to both kinds of power? Is the urgency the same for the internal hardwiring, which feels like constant personal work, and for finding that shared unconditional love, which depends on others?
That's a great question. When you really sit with these lyrics, which side of the power equation, the individual optimization or the shared empathy, feels like it carries more weight in McLean's final message about what it means to be powerful right now?
Something to think about.